In June of 2021, the company named Anchor released Soundcore Life P3, which at the time made a lot of noise in the industry and became a lot of people's favorite earbud. But a year and a half plus is a lifetime in electronics. So right now, at the time of recording this video, which is the end of winter / beginning of spring 2023, the question is, are these still worth your investment? I'm going to do my best to answer this question for you today. What's up, everybody? This is David M., the Polish Potato. Before I begin, I wanted to quickly reference the state of this channel. I was able to grow 150 baby potatoes with only 5 videos. And personally, to me, this is an amazing success. Thank you all for being here with me. Now let's get to talking about the Soundcore Life P3. And the first ranking I will always do is, of course, sound quality, because to me that is the most important feature of all earbuds. I completely understand if something else matters the most to you, like maybe great ergonomics or quality of the microphone for the phone calls, or fantastic noise cancelling. That's why there are other parts of this video, and they are marked as chapters, so you can skip to the part that interests you most. But as far as sound quality is concerned, for these earbuds, they have been released more than a year and a half ago, and a year and a half is a lifetime in electronics. And at the time of the release, they made a lot of noise, and a lot of people jumped on them and considered them so great, and probably for a reason, because when you put these into your ears and start listening to music, it is a good experience. I can't deny it, but you have to ask yourself the key question: good compared to what? So I can't say these sound bad, but when you start comparing them to Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro or Moondrop Neko Cake, you clearly hear that difference. And both of these, the Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro and the Moondrop Neko Cake, sound fuller and better balanced, because one feature of the Soundcore, which I'm noticing not only with this set but also with other sets, and I will talk about this soon in the future on this channel, is that they kind of going for this really extreme sound signature. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of bass here. It is overdone, in my opinion. And there's a lot of treble. There's so much on high end that it's also overdone, in my opinion. And what I mean by overdone, you have to tone it down on both the bass and both the high end to kind of get these to sound more balanced. And it's especially evident and jumping out at you when you start listening to, for example, Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro, right after you listen to these, to the same songs. That's why I talked in my short about the importance of having your own audio testing playlist, because you can sort of train your brain to remember how certain songs should sound like. And then when you start listening to them on different earbuds, you know, swapping the earbuds right after each song, listening to your well-known music on both sets, that's when you start clearly hearing the difference. And what Soundcore did is, I thought about this for a long time, and I listened to about 150 songs on specifically these two sets. This was all started by question from one of you, my viewers, and I wanted to be helpful and tackle this subject properly. So I listened to about 150 songs, and what I don't like is the recessed and missing mids compared to the lows and highs on this Soundcore set. Especially when you listen to the same music on the other two sets, Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro and Moondrop Neko Cake, you hear that difference very, very clearly. Another point is, if you want to make Soundpeats sound like the Soundcore, you can, because there's an extensive equalizer and a lot of modifications to the way they sound that you can do. But if you want to make these sound more balanced and more comparable to the Capsule 3 Pro, you're going to have difficult time doing that. And having said all that, I still absolutely appreciate and understand that there will be some people who prefer this extreme sound signature, and that's fine. We all hear things differently and we all have different preferences. But if you care about hearing more of what the author intended, more of what the author really wanted to make a song sound like, you're gonna go with this or with this, because they simply deliver fuller, more precise sound listening experience. I took long enough talking about the sound quality. Time for the ranking. Having taken into consideration everything I just said, I am going to give these a relatively low 5, and only because I don't think these deliver a well-balanced listening experience. They are kind of extreme. And I, again, absolutely understand that there's some of you that will like and prefer this over other earbuds. That is totally fine. Again, we all have our own listening preferences. To me, fuller sounding, better balanced earbud will always win against something with a little extreme sound signature, which is what's happening here. Okay, category number 2 is ergonomics, which is how they fit into your ears and partially how their build quality affects the operation. No problems here. I think they actually fit really well into your ears. They stay in your ears without having to make constant adjustments, which is really important if you move around a lot. And they sort of feel very natural. So the shape and the build quality supports this natural feeling of having them in your ears for a long time throughout the day without an impression that there's something strange going on and you have something in your ears that's not supposed to be there. Actually, just the opposite. They again feel like they belong, which is really great. 8 out of 10 for ergonomics. No problems here. Aesthetics. This is a category that is pretty subjective. Personally, I would get rid of all the glossy surfaces on these. I don't really know why these need to be there, since they are on the part that kinda is not visible anyway. Maybe that's why it doesn't matter that much. I do like the outside. There is matte finish on here. Little logo of Soundcore, excellent. And they look very good to me. I personally do not need gold or any other super upscale looking elements on my earbuds. I kind of prefer the understated aesthetics. So these look really great to me. I think overall the designers did a great job making these look like a nice piece of electronics in your ear without going over the top. Could they be a little more attractive? Yes, they could, but they're also far from the bottom end of the market, which makes me rate them at 7 out of 10 for the aesthetics. Controls are good and responsive. Once they are in your ears, I have no problem starting the song with the 2 taps, skipping to the next song with the 2 taps on the left one, or stopping the music. If you just touch once or touch once here, you can up or down the volume, which is also very helpful. I think the controls are well thought of and they work. So I'm gonna rate them at 9 out of 10, because other than very rare instances when earbud doesn't really react to what you're trying to do, which also may be a user error, I don't really have anything to complain about in this system. Welcome to the standard Polish potato active noise cancellation test with the Soundcore Life P3. I already have them in my ears. And first, to give you guys a good idea of what kind of noise in this loud car we're dealing with, I'm going to record some of it with this H1N. I'm switching to it right now. And to up the stakes a little bit, I am going to crack both windows. The right one is open, the left one is open right now. So let's listen to the levels of noise for a little bit to have a great idea of what kind of job the Life P3 will have to do to cancel all of this out. And now we're back to listening to the actual Soundcore Life P3 in these conditions, just to, and now we're back to listening to the actual
Soundcore Life P3 in these conditions, it's worth mentioning that I did switch to the transportation mode. So if you guys are still considering purchasing these mainly for phone calls, this is exactly what you would sound to the party on the other end. You know, maybe you're not the driver, you're a passenger in a car, or you're on a boat, or you're commuting on a train. There's all kinds of noises that you will have to deal with, and that's the job Live P3 would do, canceling them out.
I have tested SoundPeats Capsule 3 Pro in a similar scenario before, but just to stay true to my scientific method and have everything the same on the same day in the exact same environment, I have them in my ears right now. One thing sort of worth noticing, and I don't know how this really relates to the final results of this test, is that having SoundPeats Capsule 3 Pro in my ears, I can hear less of the noise from the outside than I could with the Live P3. I'm not sure if this relates exactly to what's going to come out on the other end in the recording, but just to reference the personal experience when I'm doing these tests, I would already pick SoundPeats Capsule 3 Pro over the Live P3 by having this difference in how much less noise is getting into my ears right now. And now, finally, it's time for the Moondrop Neko Cake to join this comparison because I kept referencing them in other parts of this video. So here we are, the same exact scenario with the exception of a lot of wind coming in through the left window right now. 50 miles an hour, both windows are cracked. I am in ANC mode. And now you guys can go back and forth over this part of the video to have the exact comparison and hear the differences between these three different earbuds in pretty challenging conditions.
This is quite a windy day, which is really great for my test. It's not really wonderful to be here right now because it's cold, but I am not giving up. Let's first listen to the level of noise at this particular location recorded with the H1N that's right here in front of me. Okay, as you can hear, it is significant, and right now I do have the Live P3 in my ears, and I'm going to switch them to the outdoors mode, which is supposed to help even more with reducing the wind noise. Is it better right now? The level of wind noise is exactly the same, or maybe even a little stronger. I hope it doesn't blow away my iPhone setup here. Than it was a few moments ago. So if you guys can still hear me well or can hear me better now, then it means this outdoors ANC mode actually works well on Soundcore Life P3. It's getting pretty extreme here, and I don't love this part, to be honest with you. Because I know I don't look very cold, but I am really cold right now. But I wanted to complete the scientific part of the test and give SoundPeats Capsule 3 Pro a shot in really windy conditions. Does it make a difference if I turn my head and face the wind because it's coming from there? Or is it still not making any difference? I don't even know what to say anymore for this test. I just want to kind of get back in the car and get out of here.
But I'm not going to do that just yet because it's time to give the Moondrop Neko Cake an equal chance and show you guys what they are capable of in the similar conditions, in actually exactly the same conditions that are starting to drive me crazy. So I hope this was an enough test for you to hear the differences between the three tested earbuds. Today, I'm going back to my studio right now. One important point I have to make here is that there's a difference between what was evidentially recorded on iPhone and the actual user experience. Because when I had Live P3 in my ears, I never really heard this nice sound dampening effect of ANC that I get immediately with Capsule 3 Pro, Neko Cake, not to even mention Bose, Sony, or one more Evo. And it wasn't for the lack of trying, because I did go with all the different ear tip sizes and I try to, adjust my fit and lodge them into my ears properly and fix whatever I thought could be still wrong that isn't giving me this full ANC effect. And it was in different situations. I walked around the house, I went to grocery stores, I sat down with friends and in restaurants. And having taken all of that into consideration, I am going to be generous here and rate the ANC on Soundcore Life P3 at 6 out of 10. Build quality for these is really okay. I don't have too many problems with how they feel. The materials used feel nice enough to the touch. I think they're pretty solid. The case, it could be a little less flimsy. I feel like with just a little bit more pressure, this will easily break off. I don't ever want to find out what happens if this falls. My Bose Quiet Comfort 2 case fell from maybe 3 feet and hit a hardwood floor, and the part that closes snapped off. So now I have a big problem because Bose case is more expensive than these earbuds with the case included. It's a 7 out of 10 for build quality for these, because while they're not bad, I think they are better made earbuds on the market. The app support for the Life P3 is good in my opinion. There's a lot of modes here for ambient sound that I mentioned before. There's a gaming mode, which gamers will really appreciate. It lowers the latency, so you get more immediate feedback. There's no delay with the music or sounds or voice playing in your ears, which is really important for gaming. The equalizer is really good. You have a lot of custom choices that you can go with, and you can go up and down the different frequencies to make them sound the way you want, with the caveat that I mentioned in the very beginning. The default sound signature I'm not a great fan of, but I do appreciate the extensive range of settings that you can apply. You can also reassign and change the controls pretty much completely. You can assign different actions to the single tap, double tap, holding for 2 seconds for both left and right earbud. I think that is really great, and more manufacturers should be doing that. Kudos for that. Overall, I'm going to rate the app at 9 out of 10 because I am impressed with it. Moving on to rating the case, I kind of already hinted to you that it's not my favorite of all earbud cases on the market. I feel like it could be a little more solid, but on the other hand, it's pretty lightweight. So that's a plus. And I also appreciate how these sort of go in the case horizontally. So a lot of cases have this vertical design, like for example, One More, and there's nothing wrong with that. But personally, I just think it makes easier for these to come out and go back in. There's no mystery here as for which way you should put them in. They snap on with the magnets that they have. And overall, I kind of am drawn to this horizontal design more than to other designs. So I'm going to rate it at 7 out of 10. Battery and charging, I think this is really great. The numbers are on the screen. For an earbud that was released almost 2 years ago in June of 2023, it's going to be 2 years. They compete very well in this department against other brands. My ranking is 9 out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the final conclusion. The question I posed in the beginning of this video is, should you still invest your money in these earbuds in 2023? I would say no, because the competition has outshined these over time, especially when it comes to the Soundpeats Capsule 3 Pro, and when it comes to the sound quality, even the Moondrop Neko Cake, which I will review soon in detail. They don't do everything perfectly, but they do sound better to me than the Soundcore Life P3. Do they have other features that are still worth your attention? Absolutely. The ergonomics are really great. The controls work well. The microphone quality for phone calls is good. And there's really cool app support that lets you do a lot of things with these. So if sound quality is not your top number one priority, you may still want to invest your money in these because they rank so well in all these other departments. So I want to be fair and give you a good idea of what these represent in terms of every single aspect you can think of. But the bottom line for me is that if you really want to get lost in music and have the best possible listening experience, there are simply better choices on the market today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gives you enough information to make an educated decision if you're considering a purchase of the Soundcore Life P3 or any other earbuds mentioned today. I will be back soon. I am super excited about the next reviews I'm going to be bringing to you in the near future.